Well, hey guys. Good welcome to Inspirations for Your Life. It's great to be with you on a Saturday evening. It is May 16th and it is 2026. And we have a brand new master topic here for you guys. If this is your very first time joining me, I want to take the opportunity to say welcome, and I want to say thank you for joining me. If you've been here one time, two times, five, 100, or even more, I want to say thank you for joining me, but I want to say the words welcome back. It's always great to have people that enjoy the quality and content of the show that I produce here. So great to have you here. So if you have not checked out believemeachieve.com, feel free to go do that after the show is over. You can get my short form content, long form content, articles, reels, and so much more. If you're thirsty, like I have my RO water here with a spot of homemade lemon, natural lemon, I should say, and it is absolutely delicious. Feel free to go. You get yourself a beverage, drink, or other snack, and come on back to the show. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's kick this show off. Are you ready? I know I'm ready. Okay, so let's kick it off. So the master topic: how focus shapes daily performance. That's the master topic. It's we're on series 5. We're on show number 21, by the way. Oh, who am I? I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, engineer, marketing specialist, video producer, podcast host, coach, keynote speaker, graduate student, passionate lifelong learner, and now very grateful to be a published author. Yes, guys, I became a published author literally about, well, it was actually the 17th. So tomorrow would actually make it 1 month that I became a published author. All right, guys. So again, great to have you here, and welcome once again to the Inspirations for Your Life show. Whether you're listening to us or whether you're watching us, it's great to have you either way. And tonight, I'm focusing on how attention shapes performance in real life. Now, your results are directly, I'm going to say, influenced by where your focus goes. So let's begin. All right. We can start at the very top. I guess that's the best place to start, right? All right. So point number 1: focus determines how clearly you think. Okay. Focus determines how clearly you think. When focus is stable, thinking becomes organized and structured, and also relaxed, and not something that takes a lot of energy. So I think that's an important point to note. When we're calm, when we're relaxed, we're able to think and be much more creative and use a lot less energy. All right. Number 2, guys, attention shapes the quality of every decision. The attention, right? The attention we put towards something or someone. Better focus will always lead us to more accurate and confident choices. That's a given, guys. But a lot of people don't do this. And the reason they don't do this is because they get stuck in the middle. They don't know where they should go. They don't know what they should do. And it becomes a very, very big, very big problem. And so I think that's an important thing to, definitely understand. And a lot of people, don't get it. They just don't seem to, get, what that is. And so I think that holds people back, right? I think that holds people back. And for some reason, I think it harms people. All right. It harms people because they don't necessarily know what they're doing. All right. It harms them. And I want to tell you that this is something that can really affect you long term. And so it might not seem like anything on the surface, but when something holds you back like this, that's something that can stick with you for a very long time. Okay? So it can stick with you for a long, long time. I think that's an important point to note, guys, because people will go their entire life and then they'll wonder why something isn't working a certain way. And I think that happens because you get stuck. All right. You get stuck and then you figure, well, how do I get out of this stuckness? And the truth of the matter is, you don't get out of it overnight. Okay. It takes time to get out of this. Number three, guys, distraction increases mental effort without awareness. So we use more of our energy when we're distracted. Okay. And we lose sight of what we're working on. And we probably start to become less efficient. You feel busy, but your output does not increase. And it also, well, goes down in quality often. And that can be hard when you're expelling so much energy. You're like, well, how is this even happening? It's because you're not keeping your eye on your intentions, right? We have to keep our core alignments with us all the time in everything we do. If we don't, then somewhere we're going to find out that we're not where we're supposed to be. Number four, guys, single focus improves speed and clarity. Doing one task at a time increases execution quality. One task, not 5, not 10, not 3, not 100. Many companies out there don't get this. They think that they can make an employee work so many hours and doing multiple things at one time. And then they wonder why the quality assurance or the customer service or the client service just drops down. I'll tell you why. It's because you're multitasking too much. Multitasking reduces execution accuracy. The brain constantly resets between competing inputs, and it's like, what do I need to do? And it's kind of like trying to keep a balance, but it's really wrestling, and it's still using a lot of energy, right? At home, if you put lights on and you're not in the room, it still uses energy. You put TVs on, it still uses energy. Even if you're not watching them, it still uses energy. So the distraction, even if we're not totally aware of that, it still causes our energy to basically drop because it's being used. Number six, guys, energy flows wherever the attention goes. I've said this so many times. So wherever basically our attention is focused, that's where the energy is going to flow. So our attention, okay, is going where the energy is flowing. Okay. I think that's important to know. And where you focus is actually the placement of what determines where your effort drains. If you're wondering why you're not getting where you want to be, well, take a look at your distractions. Take a look at your inputs. And then you can say, oh, wait a minute. Now I see what's happening. I'm constantly getting disrupted, right? I'm constantly getting disrupted. Number seven, guys, interrupted thinking slows performance. Every interruption forces the mind to rebuild context. You know what it makes me think of? If you ever, maybe you have a smartphone in your car or a smart player, and every so often the system has to re-index what's on your device so it can kind of be able to get to them faster. So it kind of says, it usually says something like profiling app or profiling music or something like that. So every interruption forces the mind to rebuild the index and the context. Because otherwise it's just this big blur. It's a big blur. Big blur. Number 8, stable focus improves task completion. Consistent attention leads to more finished work. So my big question, the multi-billion-dollar question, is why don't people focus on one thing at one time? Because they've been instructed by management, by other people that supposedly know better than them, that you're supposed to focus on multiple things. But I found myself that when I focus on multiple things, those things get off path, off track. I can have multiple things in a queue and working on them and switching back and forth, but I don't work on more than one thing at a time. So if one thing is working and it's taking time to finish, I can come back and do something else. But I don't work on two things at the same time. I wait for something to be done if there's a process. And that's not simultaneously working. Simultaneously be working would be like if I'm working on something And while I'm doing something else. So I stop. Once this is done, then I go back and do something else. I don't keep going back and forth while something is processing. Number 9, guys, attention shifts reduce output quality. Frequent shifting will weaken consistency and the flow of that information. The flow of the information. Number 10, clarity improves when input is reduced. Less information creates stronger mental organization. Same thing with ChatGPT and all these different AI bots. Less is more. Less is more. Number 11, guys, mental noise affects decision speed. Too many thoughts slow down the clarity and your action, and it causes us to pause. Number 12, focus stability improves workflow. Work becomes smoother when attention does not drift. So how do you do that? You complete one task, and then you move on to the next task. That's how it works, guys. One task and then the next task. Okay. Number 13, task switching increases cognitive load. So if you're working on one thing, you're constantly switching from here, switching back and forth, that's multitasking. If you're doing one thing and you finish it, okay, then you move on to another task. So maybe you have a couple things and maybe you need to do something or get something started so it can process and then you can come back to it. Now you're switching task, but then you're finishing something else and then you're coming back. You're not constantly coming back and forth until the other task is done. Every shift you have requires additional mental energy. And it's kind of like being in the car, right? If you put your air conditioner on, it's going to burn more gas, right? It's going to burn more gas. That's inevitable. And so when that happens, you're like, well, but I wasn't using that. Well, you were. If it was on, you were using it. And you might have a home where you have so many lights and like, but I'm not using them. Yeah, but they're on in your house. So they're still drawing current, still drawing energy. Number 14, guys, awareness of focus improves the control. Awareness of focus improves control. Noticing drift allows you to correct attention faster. But we have to be aware of what drift is, how drift happens. Drift usually happens when we get too confused, okay? When we're off our benchmark, when we keep hopping from one thing to another. Many times when you're cooking, you're multitasking. You're cooking multiple foods at one time, but that's a little bit different because each food is cooking simultaneously, but you kind of have to move from one to the other to check, make sure they don't burn, stir, things like that. Number 15, guys, execution reflects attention strength. Now, your output always mirrors your focus quality. If you're not happy with the quality that's coming out, examine the input, okay, and the focus you have toward it. Because I'll bet you that you're probably not paying as deep attention as you think you are. Number 16, poor focus creates unfinished work, right? I don't think people mean to have unfinished work, but they put too many things down at a time. So I have my little sheet, I cross things off. When something gets done, I move to the next task. Sometimes I prep a task because it might take 10 or 15 minutes. That's not simultaneously working. The task might be simultaneously working, but I'm still only working on one project. I'm going to start a task. Maybe it takes 20 minutes. I'm going to go to something else, and I'm going to come back. That's not simultaneous working, okay? If I did one task and I kept flipping back, forth, that would be simultaneous working. We don't want to do that. Starting becomes easier than completing tasks. When we start, we're at the beginning, right? We have a clean slate. When we don't have a task that's complete, it's like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do now, right? And you kind of put this big weight on you, and it keeps getting heavier and heavier, and it keeps, dragging you down. Number 17, strong focus reduces rework. Clear attention reduces errors, and corrections that happen later. I think a lot of people don't realize that when you're not focusing 100%, you're going to make mistakes, right? You're going to make mistakes. Could be something simple, could be something big, but you're going to make mistakes because you're rushing the process, right? That happens a lot when people bake. One thing I learned that when I get in the kitchen is that I don't multitask. All right. I put all the stuff in I need to for my mise en place, get it set up. And the only multitasking I'm doing, turn the oven on, but I'm still doing one thing at a time. I'm making the cookies, I'm taking the thing out of the oven, but I'm not doing multiple things. I am checking. So when the timer goes off, I still pull it out, but I stop the other action and then I go back. So I really have two actions I flip between. And then if the dough is all done, I will make another batch. But if the oven rings, then I stop everything and I go grab what's in the oven because I don't want to burn what's in the oven. Number 18, guys. Attention drift lowers productivity. Lost focus breaks momentum without warning. I think this is the hard one for a lot of people to grasp, how a loss in focus will get us to detach from quality. It's because things get clearer, foggy. They get more confusing, and people just don't know like where to start. I'll give you an example. Maybe you're counting money, okay, and you stay focused on that, right? But what about an hour later if I asked you to remember what money's in there? Would you remember it? Maybe. Suppose I asked you to remember 4 or 5 tills. You're probably not going to remember that. So you count. Sometimes people will write the numbers down, like they might write this batch, they'll write the number so you know what it is. Number 19, guys, intentional focus improves the results. So directed attention proves more meaningful outcomes. When we focus on one task at a time. Number 20, guys, reaction-based thinking reduces clarity. That's why I always tell you to be proactive and not reactive. Acting without focus creates confusion and it creates a delay. Okay? That's very important. If you don't have focus, you have a delay. Number 21, guys, structured focus improves the consistency. I said before in other shows, we need structure and we need consistency to have success. If we have structure and no consistency, we don't have success. If we have consistency and no structure, well, then we're just kind of doing whatever we want, but we're not having a plan. Repeat attention patterns build reliability. That's why people always want to get you into a successful habit, into a rhythm, we call it. So this way you can move forward. Number 22, distraction creates hidden fatigue. Yeah. Mental exhaustion appears without visible progress. And I think this frustrates a lot of people when they feel very tired. Now, there's a physical tired with the body, which you can get from exercise. But then there's also the time where your body says, hey, I know I got to rest. I got to take it easy. And you got to listen to your body. Number 23, clear attention improves problem solving. Focus allows faster identification of solutions. Number 24, guys, focused work reduces mistakes. Stability and attention improves accuracy and execution. Because when we pay attention to something, we're making sure it's working correctly. If we don't, then that can be a big problem, right? Something could be very minor or it could be something major. I'll give you an example. I was on a bus several years ago going to Jackson, Wyoming, because the airport, we flew into Boise, Idaho. That's where they flew us because the airport, basically the Jackson, Wyoming airport, was shut down. So we really couldn't fly into that airport, so we had to fly into Boise. And we got off the plane, and then literally they gave us all this food and snacks, and then we get on a bus. And the bus driver, after 3 or 4 hours on the bus, He happened to mention very slightly that he made a wrong turn about an hour ago, and he has to now go back, all because he wasn't paying attention. So you might say, John, intention doesn't really matter. Attention doesn't matter, but it does. It will cost you. It will be a price. It might not be a financial price. It might be an aggravation cost that you have to redo some work over. And your time is still money, guys. It's still money. Number 25, mental clarity improves execution speed. Mental clarity improves execution speed. Because when you know how to do something, your fingers, your body just goes into that memory mode. You don't even have to think. Clear thinking reduces hesitation and, of course, any delays that could surface. Number 26, guys, attention, discipline improves outcomes. Controlled focus leads to stronger results, right? Controlling meaning that you are regulating your behavior and you're also monitoring it in like a feedback loop. If something is good, well, you leave it where it is. If it's not, then you have to go back and you have to make some adjustments. This is how all the manufacturers work, right? When they make something and it's not right or doesn't taste good or it doesn't come out correct, well, they will go ahead and stop everything and then they'll make a slight adjustment. Then they'll rerun it and they'll see if everything is good. Number 27, guys. Stable thinking improves workflow. Work becomes easier when attention is steady. So when our attention is steady, we're in congruence with what we're going toward. When it's not in congruence, it's like, I'm going to say, a complete chaos. You're just like, I understand. I don't get this, right? I don't get it. So work becomes easier when attention is steady. Number 28, guys. Output reflects focus, quality. The quality of the work matches the quality of the attention. We've said this before. Number 29, performance improves with awareness. Awareness of focus creates better control over output. What is awareness? It's monitoring. But when we're aware, we suddenly can dial into things like other perceptions. Okay. I think that's an important piece. Number 30, guys. Focus is the core driver of results. Every outcome begins with where attention is placed. We talked about this in the very beginning of the show, right? Wherever our attention goes, that's where the energy is going to flow. So we want to make sure that whatever we're focusing on is what we want. Because if we don't, we're going to be very unhappy because we're going to be going down a road that we probably don't even want to be part of. So tonight's message is very simple. You do not improve performance by adding effort. Let me say that again. You do not improve performance by adding effort. You do not improve performance by adding effort. You improve performance by controlling attention. You improve performance by controlling attention. You improve performance by controlling attention. So most people think, oh, I got to throw in so much extra time, so much labor. But really all you're doing is you're burning yourself out, guys. Control is the secret. To not let your brain go a million different directions. Okay? Don't let it go a million different directions. I think that's a very important thing to know. And I say this to you because if you don't understand this one concept, you'll be you'll be wondering why you're going in loops. You'll be going in loops over and over and over again. You'll be like, I don't know why. You'll be going in loops. And I think it's important to understand this. All right, it's absolutely important to understand this. I think that's an important piece that people just don't get. And that piece can get people to stop. Okay. And the stop can cause people to just change and get people to just change where they are or what they're doing. And I feel that that's something that many people don't realize. But by shifting your attention, your awareness to a different point, to different outcomes, you affect the steps and also the energy that you exert. And that can help, or let's say not help, with other people. Your energy is what makes something so. Ladies and gentlemen, I am John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, and a lot more. And this has been Inspirations for Your Life. I hope that you guys have a great rest of your evening or rest of your day. And remember, awareness and our attention are key for success. If you do that, guys, your life will change. Okay? Your life will change. But don't expect to be an expert on it overnight, because you won't. You'll get a little more aware each time. Have a good one, everyone, and be well.